Hello and happy Friday. I'm Anson, and we are in week 2 of our new series, For God and Neighbor, where we're looking at just the most important thing in the world, according to Jesus. To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, to love your neighbor as yourself, Jesus said, is the command, the twofold command that sums up everything in the Old Testament. It's the way to live as followers of Jesus, as children of God. And so it's a pretty important question for us, not only as individuals, but collectively as a church. And so last week we started a journey of exploring, what does it look like? What does Jesus mean when he says, love God and love neighbor? Last week we saw through a parable in Luke chapter 16 that to love God and neighbor is to use our resources to gain new friends. Jesus talked about how we use our material wealth, the resources, the possessions, the money that we have. What are the purposes that we put it to use for? And he says, don't just use it to gather up riches for yourself, but use it to gain new friends. Meaning, use it to invest in people for God's kingdom. Use it to pursue the lost sheep. Use it to seek after the lost coin, the prodigal son. In this section of Jesus' teaching, he's pushing us outward. And in that particular parable, he's calling us to use our resources for this purpose of gaining new friends for God's kingdom. So last week in our services, we put a tangible action on that by allowing everybody to take a little ball, a little multicolored ball, and we all were able to write the name of someone in our Lake Norman community, either in this generation or a generation to come, that represents perhaps a new friend that might be gained for God's kingdom if we lean into our calling to love God and love neighbor. If you missed last week, I'd encourage you to catch up on it. We gave an update on where we are with our ministry and campus investments through the For Lake Norman Project, which is our way of aligning and mobilizing around this call to love God and love neighbor. So if you missed that, I encourage you to catch up on that because it really kind of sets the trajectory for some practical applications of our whole series. This week, we're turning to another parable, another set of teachings of Jesus in Luke 17, where we're going to see that to love God and neighbor is to do the right things for the right reasons. He gives 3 specific ways in this section of teaching that we can do the right thing for the right reasons. And as we do so, we're setting an example for others. So this is a good week for us to reflect on both the examples that we're following and the example that we set for others, and to ask this question, are we doing the right things for the right reasons? It's an important question for us as a church as we think about our calling and the mission and vision that we have in front of us, the investments that we're making, the initiatives that we're launching. It's also an important question for us individually, how we're living our lives. So this is a big week for us to continue building on this question. How can we love God and love neighbor? Are we doing the right things for the right reasons? I hope you'll join us either online if you need to, but in person if you can, as we continue this journey together. But until then, I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope to see you soon.